I was certain our love was built on complete transparency, the kind of devotion where every secret was shared and every promise honored. That certainty was shattered the day my fiancé, with a voice as smooth as silk, swore he would delete his dating apps forever, vowing that I was his one and only. I believed him, clinging to his every word like a lifeline. But then, when I was tidying up our shared space one quiet afternoon, I discovered a hidden profile, a digital treasure trove brimming with messages, flirtatious banter, and intimate confessions meant for someone else. In that moment, every vow, every I love you, splintered into shards of betrayal that left me breathless. I still remember the early days of our relationship, when every encounter felt like destiny. We met on a sunlit afternoon at a mutual friend's garden party, where the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft murmur of conversation set the stage for what I believed was true love. His eyes sparkled with warmth and promise, and I was captivated by his effortless charm. We talked for hours, sharing dreams and aspirations as though the world had conspired to unite our hearts. Every whispered promise, every tender embrace, painted a future so vivid and secure that I thought nothing could ever tear it apart. I trusted him completely. His every word was a foundation upon which I built my hope. Our journey together felt like a beautiful tapestry, woven from countless shared moments, lazy Sunday mornings with coffee in hand, spontaneous midnight drives under starlit skies, and quiet evenings spent planning our dreams on a worn-out couch. He always reassured me that I was his priority, that no matter what distractions life threw our way, our love was the cornerstone of everything. And so, when he promised to delete his dating apps, a gesture he claimed was meant to prove his unwavering commitment, I believed him without hesitation. I saw it as a symbol of our trust, a sacred bond that would only grow stronger with time. Yet, as days turned into weeks, subtle discrepancies began to emerge. I noticed how, on the nights he claimed he was working late, his phone would light up with notifications that he never mentioned. I brushed off those little details as the quirks of a busy schedule, convincing myself that I had nothing to worry about. I was, after all, enveloped in the joy of our shared plans and the promise of a future filled with endless possibilities. I spent my time planning romantic getaways, organizing our dream home together, and even writing little love notes to myself as a reminder of the happiness I believed we shared. One cool, quiet afternoon, when our apartment was bathed in soft, natural light filtering through gauzy curtains, I decided to do a bit of spring cleaning. I was sorting through some drawers in our shared study when, tucked away behind a stack of old mail, I found an envelope I didn't recognize. Its edges were slightly worn, and the handwriting on it was neat but unfamiliar, almost as if it were meant to be hidden. With a mix of curiosity and a hint of trepidation, I opened it and discovered a single sheet of paper with a list of app names and passwords scribbled in hurried ink. My heart began to pound. I realized with a sickening clarity that this wasn't a random note, it was a record of accounts, dating apps that he had promised to delete. I stared at the paper for what felt like an eternity, my mind reeling as I tried to comprehend the betrayal. How could the man who had vowed that I was his one and only have maintained hidden profiles behind his back? I felt as though the very foundation of our future was crumbling before my eyes. Every I love you he had ever whispered now rang hollow, drowned out by the revelation that he had been secretly conversing with other women. The pain was immediate and overwhelming, a tidal wave of betrayal that left me gasping for breath. For the next few days I was consumed by a whirlwind of emotions, shock, anger, sorrow, and a profound sense of betrayal. I revisited every memory, every shared dream, questioning whether I had been too naive, too willing to believe in his every word. I found myself scrolling through his phone late at night, each message, each notification a small piece of evidence that confirmed my worst fears. There were flirtatious messages full of playful banter, intimate confessions of longing, and promises that were as sweet as they were deceitful. I saved screenshots, meticulously organizing them into a folder on my laptop that I labeled Truth. With every digital artifact I collected, my heart broke a little more, yet I also felt a burgeoning determination to reclaim my dignity and my future. I turned to my closest friend, someone who had always been my anchor through both joyful and challenging times. Over cups of coffee in our favorite quiet cafe, I recounted every painful detail, the promise to delete his dating apps, the discovery of the hidden profile, the intimate messages exchanged with strangers. Her eyes filled with sympathy and a quiet resolve as she reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "You deserve the truth," she said softly. "You deserve a love that is honest and complete." Her words, simple yet powerful, resonated deeply within me, sparking a resolve I had not felt in a long time. I began to see that, while the betrayal was devastating, it also offered me an opportunity to rebuild my life on a foundation of honesty. I spent countless hours pondering the future we had once planned, a future filled with shared dreams and promises of forever, and now all of it seemed tainted by his hidden double life. Every promise he had made now felt like a carefully constructed lie, every moment of intimacy a facade masking a secret that was not meant for me. I felt a deep, aching void where trust once resided, a chasm filled with unanswered questions and painful realizations. How long had he been maintaining these profiles? How many nights had I been left in the dark, thinking that his love was solely for me? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that our future as I had imagined it, was nothing but a fragile illusion. Determined to confront the truth, I began to prepare myself for the inevitable conversation. I rehearsed my words in front of the mirror until my voice, though trembling with emotion, grew steady and resolute. I trusted every word you said, I whispered, believing that our love was built on complete honesty. But now I see that those words were empty promises, a web of lies that has left me questioning everything. I promised myself that I would not allow this betrayal to define my future. I would face it head-on no matter how painful and reclaim the life I deserved, a life built on truth, integrity and self-respect. The day of the confrontation arrived on a cold, overcast afternoon. Our apartment, once a sanctuary of shared dreams and laughter, now felt like a prison of silence and hidden secrets. I sat in the living room, clutching the folder of evidence tightly in my hands, my heart pounding with a mixture of dread and determination. Every minute felt like an eternity as I awaited his return. When he finally walked through the door, his face wore an expression of practiced nonchalance, a calm facade that did nothing to mask the guilt I knew lay beneath. I took a deep breath and said, "We need to talk." His eyes flickered toward the folder on the coffee table, and I could see a fleeting flash of uncertainty as if he had known all along that the truth would come crashing down. I opened the folder and began to lay out the evidence piece by piece, the screenshots of flirtatious messages, the hidden profile details, the whispered promises that were not meant for me. My voice, though heavy with heartbreak, grew stronger with each revelation. "You promised me that you'd delete those apps, that I was your only one," I said, my voice quivering with raw emotion. "But this evidence tells a different story, a story of a man who maintained a hidden profile, who flirted with strangers and built a secret life behind my back." For what felt like an eternity, he sat there in stunned silence, his eyes unable to meet mine, his excuses faltering in the face of undeniable proof. The room was thick with the weight of our shattered dreams, a silence so profound that every tick of the clock echoed like the final beat of a dying promise. I demanded answers, each word laced with the anguish of betrayal. "How could you?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "How could you promise me forever and then hide away with someone else, pretending that your love was only for me?" His silence, punctuated by a few weak attempts at explanation, confirmed that the truth was as painful as I had feared. In the aftermath of that confrontation, I felt a deep, pervasive sorrow, a grief for the future we had planned and the love I thought we shared. I wandered through our apartment like a ghost, every room a haunting reminder of the promises that were broken. I found myself questioning everything I had believed in, the trust one had placed in him, the dreams we had woven together, the future that now seemed irreparably lost. Yet even as the pain threatened to overwhelm me, a quiet determination began to grow. I knew that I deserved more than a life built on deception. I deserved a future defined by honesty, respect, and genuine love. I reached out to a therapist, someone whose compassionate guidance helped me navigate the labyrinth of emotions that betrayal had unleashed. In the safe space of our sessions, I learned to process the crushing sorrow, to release the anger that burned inside me, and to gradually rebuild the fragments of my shattered trust. I wrote in my journal until my fingers ached, pouring out every tear, every moment of despair, and every flicker of hope that began to emerge from the darkness. Through those sessions, I came to understand that while the scars of betrayal might never fully fade, they could serve as symbols of my inner strength, a reminder that I had the power to rise from the ashes of broken promises and forge a new path forward. The process of healing was slow and arduous, a journey marked by moments of intense grief and gradual, painful breakthroughs. I started to rebuild my life, piece by piece. I began by reclaiming my independence, spending time with friends, rediscovering old hobbies, and even exploring new interests that reminded me of the person I was before the betrayal. I took long walks in the park, letting the rhythm of my steps soothe the aching void inside me, and I found solace in the quiet beauty of nature. Each small step, each gentle moment of self-care, became a victory against the darkness of deception. Publicly, the story of our unraveling love became a quiet undercurrent among our circle of friends and family. Whispers of sympathy, knowing glances, and gentle words of encouragement followed me wherever I went. I began to share fragments of my journey on a personal blog, writing with raw honesty about the heartbreak, the confrontation, and the painstaking process of reclaiming my life. The response was overwhelming. Messages of support from strangers who had experienced similar betrayals, heartfelt notes from old friends who reminded me that I was not alone in my struggle. Their words, filled with empathy and understanding, reinforced my belief that while the pain of betrayal was deep, it could also be transformed into a powerful force for change. As the months turned into a year, I slowly began to rediscover who I was before the betrayal, a woman with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured back into the world of dating cautiously, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won lessons of my past. Every sincere smile, every genuine conversation, helped to stitch together the fragmented pieces of my heart, creating a new tapestry of hope and resilience. I learned that true love must be built on transparency, that every promise is sacred when it is honored with honesty, and that I was worthy of a future where my trust was never taken for granted. Now, as I sit in the soft, forgiving light of my modest apartment, a space I have lovingly transformed into a sanctuary of healing and new beginnings, I reflect on the long, winding journey that led me from the depths of betrayal to a place of quiet empowerment. The memory of that hidden folder, the screenshots of his secret messages, and every word of betrayal is etched into my heart as a painful reminder of how fragile trust can be. Yet, it is also a testament to the strength I discovered within myself. A strength that allowed me to confront the truth, reclaim my dignity, and rebuild my future on my own terms. Every sunrise now is a promise of new beginnings, a fresh canvas on which I can rewrite my story, define my future, and embrace a life built on honesty and self-respect. I have learned that while betrayal may leave scars that never fully fade, those scars are not symbols of weakness but emblems of survival, reminders of the resilience that carried me through the darkest nights. I now step forward with an unshakable conviction that I deserve nothing less than a love that is true, transparent, and built on mutual respect. I am no longer defined by the lies of a man who broke his vows. I am defined by my own strength, my ability to rebuild, and the unwavering promise that I will never again let deception dictate my destiny. This is my story, a journey of shattered illusions and heart-wrenching betrayal, and ultimately, of the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted him with every beat of my heart, believed every word of his sweet promises, and built my future on the foundation of our shared dreams. But when I discovered the hidden evidence of his secret life, those intimate messages and the unmistakable trail of betrayal, I was forced to confront a truth that shattered everything I once held dear. In that devastating moment, I found the courage to gather every piece of evidence, to face the painful reality, and to reclaim my future from the ruins of broken promises. Every tear, every sleepless night, every agonizing moment has led me to this place, a place of quiet strength where I now stand as a survivor, ready to build a future defined by truth, honesty, and the unyielding promise that I am worthy of a love that is real. Every new day is an invitation to begin again, a chance to rewrite my story and to shape a future where my destiny is mine to create. I have learned that even in the face of the deepest betrayal, there is a light within me that can guide me out of the darkness, a light that transforms heartbreak into hope, sorrow into strength, and shattered dreams into the building blocks of a brighter tomorrow. I now move forward with an unbreakable spirit and a heart that, though scarred, beats with hope and determination. I am the architect of my own destiny, and with every sunrise, I choose to live a life filled with genuine love, unwavering honesty, and the power to shape a future that is entirely my own.